Hello everyone! Welcome to this match in the round of 32 for the 4DM2023 2023. I'm Silo Skiles, or Silto Dead Skiles. And joining me is going to be Ant Thunder. How are you doing today?
Hello. It's been quite a while since I've been here, but you know what? It's always good to be here.
Exactly. It is really good to have you in the commentary team once again. It's been a while, but hey, yes, better late than ever, right?
Better late than ever. Oh man, we got a match today. We got Indonesia and Vietnam, and this is gonna be honestly quite interesting. I've done a little bit of research, and these teams are quite close to each other in terms of skill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting these two teams to be pretty solid in general. Like, this is the Southeast Asian showdown, because you have, two teams from the same region in Asia.
Oh, man. So, while I was doing some research earlier, I saw Indonesia and Vietnam scoring really close during the qualifiers. But I think we are going to have a difference in Rice and LN, and I can't wait to get into these warm-ups just to see how these teams fare against each other.
I would love to look at it myself.
Just waiting for everything to lock in, and then we're going to get straight into our warm-ups.
Yeah, we're just waiting for them to arrange each other. Should be not too bad.
Yeah, it is very helpful to get situated, especially in these moments before the warm-ups, because everyone gets a little tense, everyone gets a little nervous right before the start of the match.
It is true. Although you did say that they were pretty close, right? I mean,
yeah, I think it was Indonesia scoring 14th or 13th in the qualifiers.
Actually, Indonesia is 15th and Vietnam is 18th.
Yeah.
So both of them
were really close.
See, if I were to look at the scores, I can't really exactly tell who would have the much higher advantage here. But I would argue that Vietnam has the much better physicality, at least based off their stage 8 score, and also their stage 7 score, actually. That's because, looking at how Indonesia falls off, it does seem like they'll be the first one to do so. However, this is early game, so you gotta remember that the one that really matters more would be stage 2, and there's a pretty big gap in terms of seeding when it comes to that.
Yeah, Vietnam having a 33 position in stage 2. That is really low, but they can definitely make it up, especially on something like LN or something else, as that accuracy map doesn't really take LN into account, or even SV. So this could be totally different than what we see.
We're just waiting for both of these teams to get ready. Actually, it seems like there's probably a few players on that map. All right, I guess now we're just waiting for everyone to get ready. Honestly, I mean, it's just warm up, right? I mean, you can just chill.
Ooh, so close, so close. Come on.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, not everyone has read it up yet, so I can't so like the referee cannot exactly click the ready button unless everyone has. Alright, looks like everyone's finally ready, and now we can finally start with the warm-ups. Let's go, right?
Let's go, go, go.
I've actually seen the warm-up myself. This is a core jack-oriented map, and I don't think we'll be seeing those kinds of maps early on in the tournament.
Right. The only thing you can come to mind is one of the maps, which plays like a pseudo jack map, but it definitely has its streams inside of it. So maybe we might see that into play, but these early maps are definitely more technical focused or stream focused.
Yeah, see, the thing is, like, if you have core jack maps this early on, that would just basically be an RNG game. Like,
yeah,
you would expect some of these differences would be like the slightest of margins, and at the end of the day, it's kind of more like a metronome skill set rather than actually testing the ability to core jack and etc. And I personally don't think that's a good way to test it, which is why usually these kinds of picks arrive later on around quarterfinal stage, because the factor of consistency and not just the metronome factor would be there.
Right, and it totally comes down to a play of even other patterns, like mixing in with those jacks as well. That's why we see basically some of the charts in the earlier rounds are jack charts, but they're not just solely jack charts. But oh my god, these scores! Seeing 99, 95, 91, 96, and strong 80s.
All right, so
wow.
Right now that is a really, really amazing team score from Indonesia, but once again, I don't think it should matter too much.
Right, like you got a good team comp with Indonesia, but you definitely have some carries on Vietnam's side. So this really comes down to if the third can really hold that FC, or if that third can actually play even better than the other third on the other team. So this is going to come down to basically the whole team. And a 6-star warm-up for...
Oh my, well...
Alright.
We're not gonna be seeing any maps with difficulty in round of 32, right?
Absolutely not.
I would rather just not have any maps level on early on. I mean, probably if this were like standard, I would understand having this difficulty, but this isn't standard.
This isn't. This is just insane. Although one thing we can do is at least speculate a little, seeing as how we saw pretty good accuracies on both sides, but Indonesia holding a much stronger whole team score. So I'm thinking Indonesia's gonna start going for Rice, maybe.
No, it's kind of unfair to compare that map. It's kind of like unfair to compare that map
obviously,
to the
but
pool, because if you think about it, none of the maps are just core jack oriented, and I honestly think it's a little bit silly. Okay, here we go. So we have Indonesia here at seed 15, and you can clearly see that their strongest skill set other than SV is the hybrids. So I guess that's what they could go for. But once again, that Rice one really is what's going to give them the edge over Vietnam. As if we switch over to Vietnam side, look at that Rice 1, seed 33. That is a very bad sign for Vietnam, in my opinion. As if that's going to happen, like if you're going to be facing Vietnam, you would ideally want to attack the ones that make you have a lot of challenge and accuracy, because that seems to be their number one weakness as a team.
Yeah, no, you bring up a very good point. That just brings into question as some of these maps are a little tricky, even for being in round of 32. Some of them are very tight streams, or some of them just kind of alternate in BPM as well, or just timing signature. So we'll see how it fares out.
I mean, it's kind of a testament to how good players are nowadays, where
True.
you must put the most relentless and confusing patterns out there. The thing about players now is that not only do they have that physicality, because at least around 2019, 2020, where accuracy was a little bit more like,
Oh
how do I even
man.
word this? It was a lot more human-like. I'll just say human-like, because that's just how good everyone's now.
Yeah, because back in my day, we had one accuracy carry. We didn't have a whole team who was good at accuracy. Oh man. What a good way. What a good way to start off a round of 32. Map pool.
Wow, man, these players really love their core jacks. I mean, you can already tell that in terms of the physical core jacks, looks like Vietnam is the one with the advantage.
Anything to warm up the fingers, I guess.
Oh my god, what is that?
I don't even wanna. I don't want to even ask.
Look at that skull speed from Ufixel. That makes it look so much harder.
Oh my, that's scary. That's what it is.
Oh my god, that was like just my this is wow. Dex just stopped playing, and Vietnam still has a huge lead. By the way,
This is cruel. That's what
wait a
this
minute.
is.
Are we gonna see the biggest comeback in Mania history? Dex is trying. Oh my god, is Indonesia trying to catch up? Wait a minute. I think Indonesia could have a chance.
I don't know.
Not. Wait a minute. Oh.
Oh!
Oh, that's
Last minute.
the greatest comeback in Ozymandias history has just happened.
Oh my god.
Well,
Best graph if
well.
I've ever seen one.
I know, right? That's what you call the greatest comeback. Oh, wait, so I guess it's time to roll now.
Oh, come on. Lucky rolls, lucky rolls. 83 and a 36. So we see Indonesia with the win.
So here we go. So Indonesia, just to clarify things out, the teams don't get to choose the order of the picks and brands and the text. It is defined by who wins the role, as the winner of the role will be protecting first, and then the Vietnamese team will be protecting second, and Vietnamese team will be banning first, and the Indonesian team will be banning second, while Indonesia is going to be the one that picks first. Just to make a clarification.
And with that, we see a protect on SV2. Definitely playing to their wins, to say. Their strengths.
I mean, Indonesia was one of the better teams in SV. I'm pretty sure they were seed 5, so I was like not surprised. Especially considering that only 4 other teams have a better score than that, and Vietnam was not one of them. So looks like they're contemplating on what map to protect now. I mean, I think it's LN3, but wait a minute.
Yeah, we're getting mixed signals here, but it looks like it might be something similar to LN.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to we just have to make sure that LN3 really is what they're trying to protect, because that question mark is indicating that they are unsure. And okay, looks like it is going to be LN3.
So we're going to see SV on one side and LN on the other. Now bans are where it gets interesting, because then we see what maps and maybe what skill sets the teams are not too comfortable with.
Something I really wonder if teams have done this. But like, imagine banning the skill set where you're most comfortable with, so you could trick your opponent into thinking that you're not good at the skill set when they suddenly pick a map like that, and boom, you just get wrecked.
Yikes. Now, although being not too bad of an idea, you definitely need 4 points to win, so you really want any map you can get, especially if it means the difference between tiebreaker and losing, so...
That's true. But
I hope it works out, I guess.
ideally, that strategy only works, at least in my opinion, when you're proficient at Rice. Because the thing is, hybrids will not always cater to LN players. Like
Very true.
a lot of Rice players could also play those. Oh, gosh. Oh, wait a minute. Looks like they're going to be banning. Wait a minute. All right, they're I guess they're taking their time.
They're scheming.
Yep, they're scheming indeed. So, okay, looks like Rice 2 is going to be the ban for Vietnam, I think.
How interesting.
You
think Rice 4 would be banned if they had a problem with streams, but we see Rice 2 instead.
Well, to be fair, if that's a map that Vietnam is not comfortable with, I would not mind it actually, because I'd rather play Rices that I'm more comfortable with rather than maps that I don't want to play. I mean, sure, there's also the chance that Indonesia is also comfortable with it, but it's better to take your chances on stuff that you can play rather than the maps that you can't play.
Right. That possibly can't be played if we get a ban on LN too.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, Vietnam has a sort of advantage on the LN density qualifier, so that makes sense.
Right, and being probably one of the harder LN maps in the section, I guess. Definitely a wise choice. Alright, and we're ready to get straight into it. So we have both SV maps open, definitely just pickings for Indonesia at this point. We had to protect on SV2. SV1, although being the reading SV, still has a bit of give. We can definitely see one team maybe outperforming the other, but it's still definitely going to be a challenge.
That's true. Well, Indonesia still has their own. Wait, okay, there we go. I was about to say Indonesia's kind of running out of time. Probably. Okay, looks like they're going for the SV1 selection, I think.
All right. So getting straight into SV1, maybe saving SV2 for a later time. Testing the waters right now. Let's see how it goes. The first point of the match in round of 32 between Indonesia and Vietnam.
Alright, so one thing I'm really curious about is, yes, I did say that Indonesia has a huge gap in the seed for SV1 and the SV map in the qualifiers. But think about it this way. This map is nowhere as difficult as that. The SV qualifier was meant to be around semifinals level. And considering that this is round of 32, I do think that this doesn't give an impossible chance to Vietnam to snatch it out. But the thing is, players who could play harder SV tend to be really good at more easy SV maps.
Right, because they tend to play these SV1s that are just reading, especially at early stages, as if it was just another accuracy map like Rice 1 or just any other Rice map, really.
That's true. And
so we're gonna have to see whether Indonesia can really pull their ranking on the qualifiers here in round of 32, or if we see Vietnam maybe stealing the point very early.
I mean, if you're Vietnam, you'd ideally want to steal the point early, because if you think about it, Vietnam is the one with the lower seed, so you kind of expect Indonesia to have some advantage in one way or another. But it doesn't mean that Vietnam is behind in everything. It's just you have to be more careful, considering that you're up against a team that potentially is more well-rounded than you. Even the most slightest lead in terms of being well-rounded means a lot in a tournament match.
Absolutely, and even in round of 32, just one gray 1-100 anything really can quite literally shift the lead to the other side in a moment's notice.
That is true, and this is really going to make this is going to really be interesting to watch. As if you think about it, once again, like what I've been saying a while ago, this is not going to be as difficult as the qualifiers SV. But it doesn't mean that this is going to be any easy feat to just perform really well on this. However, I do know ASCII fanboy for being a really good SV player in general. Like they've had some SV scores that really are standing out. But looks like everyone's doing fine so far.
Yeah, I don't see anything abnormal, definitely having both sides equal out their accuracy. Having ASCII and Toki both leading in accuracies for both teams. Ooh, I see a 200 on Vietnam's side.
That is, I'm pretty sure Slurp the Bureau is the reason why the lead is even on Indonesia's side. If you were to look at the top two players in Vietnam's end, it looks like they're more well-rounded than Indonesia's top two. However, it's still ahead, yes, but like in terms of being the more balanced one, I think Vietnam certainly could take advantage of that. I mean, this lead is not impossible yet. They just really have to hope that Indonesia drops into hundreds, but instead it's going to be Toki Yume who drops some.
Well, we still got quite a map to go, and my god, these accuracies. Everyone's still holding strong.
Thing is, you drop once, it's kind of over. Because the thing about SV maps is the amount of objects here usually do not really surpass the 1,000, 2,000 mark, especially early on. So a miss means much more significantly than let's say like a very long stamina map. And as of this moment, I mean the patterns don't look that complex, yes, but the focus element of SV certainly makes it a lot more challenging than it's supposed to be when it doesn't have those SVs. For the meantime, it looks like everyone's holding that consistency. Unless we see a drop from either team, I think this lead should be safe for Indonesia.
It's looking very comfortable, and if anyone drops right now, they wouldn't be able to catch up to that 400 combo. But, oh man, everyone's still holding strong.
Well, that's the thing. No drops yet. And we're going to reach a 1,000 combo map, which should be a good sign that Indonesia is going to take this. I do think this was a nice way to start. Like, securing your first point is a very good way to start the match, as it could set the rest of the tone of what's about to come. However, it certainly is only the first point, and if you're in the Vietnamese team, you should not be worried too much, as there's still a lot of opportunities. And we just see two amazing scores, and whoa, look at this 2v1 double SS from TVS Sorakun and ASCII fanboy.
That's amazing. Definitely the 200s being a large factor played. 4 200s on Vietnam's side, but definitely not despairing, especially since there was only an 8K difference between all three scores on Indonesia and Vietnam. So Vietnam shouldn't be discouraged whatsoever. They still can definitely pull us back. But let's see what they choose next as we go into the second point.
Yeah, I think we just gotta wait for taking time. Vietnam, I'm sure, is a very strategic team. Even in MWC, I've known them for like always taking their time in their strategies and whatsoever, which is one of the things that I really think that Vietnam really has an advantage on. Like this tactical and strategic mindset certainly does help in more ways than you think. Of course, it's not gonna translate exactly on the gameplay aspect, but in terms of knowing which maps to play, being strategizer certainly helps a lot.
Yeah, communication is 100%, especially in a team-based tournament. And waiting for everyone to lock in. It looks like we're going to LN3.
See, I'm not sure if I like this pick actually. Because yes, this was their protect, which means I'm thinking that this is their most confident or comfortable LN map. However, that's the reason why I don't think you should pick that first. The most comfortable map. Because in my opinion, these kinds of maps are stuff that you'd ideally want to save on like the most dangerous situations. Like example, you're down 4-1 and you're trying to get your momentum back. You should, like, ideally, at least one of the ways you could approach this is to pick that map so you could keep that momentum going and hopefully shake the other team. But right now, I think Vietnam is trying to secure their first point with the highest chance, which I think is an okay strategy as well.
Yeah, definitely not dumb at all. It's definitely a proving strategy, especially if you want to get that momentum going and get over the first loss. But let's see.
See, here's the thing. Like, you did say that. Well, wait, in the what loss again? Like, I'm just trying to say, like, even if Vietnam lost the pick, it wasn't even that big of a difference. So I'd say this is going to be an interesting choice, and I do hope it really pays off.
Right, and especially when that 8,000 difference was on an SV map, something that Indonesia dominated on in the qualifiers. You could probably see the same thing here on LN. Maybe an 8K difference between Indonesia and Vietnam. And with a bit of motivation on both sides, I think we're almost getting ready to start up in this.
Yeah, we're just really waiting for both teams to get ready.
Definitely no complaints, as this song is quite the banger.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but like, there's so many other matches out there, so we just gotta hope that this finishes on time, and I'm pretty sure it will.
Oh, well, we got 4 hours until the next match, no worries.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Well, I mean, I just think that Vietnam is going to be able to have a good chance of winning this, as looking at the qualifier stats once again, they do have an advantage on both stage 4 and stage 5, so I think this is a nice map to go with, actually.
Yeah, and this might actually prove that they'll be able to take all the hybrid and LN maps with a little bit more confidence. They might be able to bring that foot forward and actually get that momentum going and forward. But let's see if they can put those words out into action. All players loading in, and we get to start the map now.
Right now, you can already tell that yes, Vietnam has an accuracy advantage. I think it's because of ASCII Fanboy's 99.5, which, don't get me wrong, is pretty good. But with a team balance score of around 99.8, that is not going to just cut it yet.
Right, and just Vietnam's lowest accuracy player, Sora, getting a 0.76%, equal to the second highest accuracy on Indonesia. This is definitely proving to be more of a Vietnam-sided map, but we'll see if there's any drops.
And right now, just look at that score from Ufixo. It's really, really good, and it's basically the anchor of this team. They will really need that. And Stirp the Furo doing the job that they absolutely must do. Match the best player in Indonesia. That is giving Vietnam a lead Dex's act is higher than Suzune Hanamona, and TDS Sorakun is considerably higher than ASCII Fanboys. So like, yes, the highest act still goes to Upixel, but Vietnam as a team is just killing it right now.
And halfway through the map, let's see if they can keep holding that. Everyone well above that 1k combo. No drops whatsoever, and I don't think we've seen many 200 drops, really.
That's true. Man, I gotta say, I really like this song. I don't care what anyone says. This song is really good, and it's really fitting.
Really good.
It's really fitting to how close this is right now. And now we're at a sort of break section. The lead is not much. You can tell, even with all the various LN patterns that exist in this map, it seems like both teams are able to keep that composure. This part is a 200 bait if you're not careful. And here we go again with the slow LNs. Once again, 200 bait and choke bait if you're not that careful. And now we're gonna be approaching a faster part, which I think the players could be side, as it's much better to play this than like the slower ones, which could give you anxiety as to if you'll miss or not.
Oh man, and that fluctuating lead, definitely scary. They're only 150k points away from the end and nearing so closely. No 200s dropped yet, and everyone's looking pretty solid. Just the final couple seconds of this map, and I think Vietnam has a pretty strong lead. Just a few points left, and there's hardly any map to go off of. And with that, I think Vietnam can score this point.
Oh man, I was nervous the whole time. 2980 to 2977. Wow, look at these 200 counts. I think Vietnam won off of 200 counts.
Yeah, but that ratio, that is... Oh my god. I think there's a lot less 300s on the Indonesian side if you total them all up. But definitely that 200 count was very deadly.
Yeah, look at this. So 125, that would be 8, and okay, that was, let's just say 184, that's around 13. So you can tell that Vietnam really just won out of the 200 counts, and that is very important if you think about it. That 988k kind of really pulled them a little bit low. And oh wow, wait, look at the strategy.
Straight into SV2, wow.
You know what? So now that Vietnam picked their protect, Indonesia answers back with a protect of their own.
Yeah, that is, I wouldn't say protect bait, but it's definitely playing to trying to keep that momentum up as strong as possible. But definitely a good switch up from these previous matches, as most of these matches have been 5-0s. We finally get our first 1-1 on the board, and it's barely the third map, and we're already equal and equal. This is quite interesting to say the least. Now, SV2 being the memorization map, Indonesia might have a bigger lead on this SV map, but Vietnam can still maybe pull another 8k difference out, or maybe even an 8k difference on their side. This is going to really come down to how much these teams have practiced, much like all other SV maps.
Still think that this is a point that Vietnam can take, considering that Indonesia's SV lead a while ago is not even that big.
Right, it's honestly, it could be anyone's game, and especially when we got a 1-1 on the board, these maps are only going to get harder and harder to just take and confirm, really, because we haven't touched any of the rice. We've touched one LN, and we're now getting into both SVs. So we're already knocking off SV off the board, meaning Indonesia's, I guess, qualifier lead is honestly not going out the window. but they won't be able to get as many picks just pretty easily, I'd say.
Looks like we had one run through of the map. We're just waiting for. All right, here we go.
All right, and we start. Let's get this.
Oh, look at this. We have a 993,000 point lead on Indonesia's side. Let's see if Vietnam is able to catch. Wait a minute. Wait. What are these doing? What are these players doing? Okay. We have the real map now.
Not only was it the wrong map, it was a map not even the map pool. That is.
There were we saw big money in. What was that again? I already forgot the name. Whatever. But yeah, look at this though. The
I'm
lead.
That miss isn't client, or it is client, but I don't think so.
I would have hoped it was client as well, but it doesn't look like it's the case. Unfortunately, as right now, this lead does not look that big at all, but it really is one that's going to be difficult to come back to, especially considering that this is an SB map. And this is like one of those kinds of maps where you really won't have that many chances to catch up, especially considering that these SB patterns I don't think would be chokeable for Indonesia, as they have a really good SB qualifier, as it said.
Although one thing to note, they did miss during the first 400 combo, meaning that miss was calculated as less. So it's not hindering as much, but it's still definitely bad, and it's going to leave a bad taste in Vietnam's mouth, as we see a 20k difference, I think.
That is 20k, and the map hasn't even finished yet. It's mainly because of Suzune Hanamona and ASCII fanboys' advantage against the Vietnamese players. Yes, Sturp the Furo was able to match, and as I say that, Sturp the dropped 1-200, which immediately kicks them out of the top 2 players on the Indonesia side, which is just going to extend their lead even more, unless Indonesia finds a drop or two.
Yeah, regardless of the accuracies, that miss is still definitely hurting. Leaving a bad bruise on Vietnam, but honestly, we still have about a sixth of the map way to go. But Indonesia is still holding so strong. Several 200s coming out. Ooh.
Wait a minute. Why is the lead suddenly shrinking? Oh, it's because of I don't know how to pronounce this. Zibs. Yeah, Zibs. But yeah, Zibs dropping some act really scared me. If Toki Yume did not miss, I feel like the lead could have swung to Vietnam.
Oh my god, I think... Oh, if it wasn't for that miss, that would have definitely been quite close.
Let's see. So 978. So an FC in this would have been around 987. So that would have been...
ratio.
Yeah, the ratio. Okay, here's the thing.
Just
wow. Without that one miss from Toki Yume, Vietnam actually wins this pick.
100%. And again, we see another 8k difference. That would have been so close had it been not for the miss.
I'm just not sure if LN1 is the way to go. Because if you think about it, that's the only LN pick that's left. And like, would you really want to save it on an instance where it's not that risky? I don't think that would be nice. I think if I were Vietnam, I could probably go for Hotel Moonside. I think that could help them, as that has some difficult LN sections.
Although having a lot more rice than Hybrid 2, I'm just thinking LN1 is definitely a strong choice, but they do go for Hybrid 1.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was thinking. Why not go for Hybrid 1? You do not want to risk LN. You do not want to waste all of your LN picks very early on. You have to take risks. Like, at the end of the day, the only way to win this match is to know what kind of risks to take. It seems like Vietnam and Indonesia are able to capitalize on their own categories of maps that they're strong on. But we have yet to see one of the Rice and hybrids, and now we'll get to see a chance at how hybrids will turn out.
And with a hybrid being both a mix of Rice and Ellen, we actually get to see a little bit of what the Rice skill on both sides will be, especially on jump stream. So we might see something of Rice 4, Rice 3, or Rice 1 potential, I think. This is going to be really interesting. Although the BPM's not high, it's still definitely going to be, I guess, focus on consistency, especially on that accuracy part. Ratios are going to mean everything.
I'm just waiting for everyone to get ready once again.
When I said this was going to be a close match, I wasn't expecting it to be 8k differences and really close LN matches. This is blowing me out, just out of the water at this point.
Alright, so I think they're just getting ready. I mean, of course, they gotta be ready for a very close match like this.
Fairly close to the start, and I think we're almost ready. Just making sure all players are good to go.
Alright. I think they should. Yeah, there we go.
All right. Hopefully no client issues, and I think we should be ready to start this off.
Here we go. And oh wow, looks like Susanna Hanamono is very excited to play this. I mean, I would be as well.
Making sure.
Don't worry, these are not actual misses. Oh my goodness, what is going on with the client today? Oh wait, okay, wait. Okay, there we go. That was the client. Thank goodness.
Yes, client's stabilizing a little. Just it's a little slow. But now we get to see everyone getting straight into this, seeing strong 80s on the board, and we see Vietnam with a little bit of an accuracy deficiency, but nothing that can't be made up with time.
Fura seems to be the very good early game player, but oh, Dex missing! That is going to be bad news for Vietnam. I mean, yes, it was early on, but like any drop is very crucial, especially for a very close match like this.
Yeah, and right on the 400 combo border as well, leaving Vietnam to almost suffer all of it, really.
At this point, you'd have to hope that Indonesia is somehow gonna get a drop of their own. That being said, this part could be... Oh wow! Looks like no one's dropping that many accurate there. And looking at how Vex was able to recover that accuracy, I think this would have been much closer. But look at Suzune and Ufixo's axe. They've been really pushing it forward.
And killing it, especially with almost a 0.9 on Ufixo, but definitely a 0.91 on Suzune. That's just absolute amazing ratio. Well, Dex has definitely come over the 400 combo and is starting to pick up as well. That miss is still definitely hurting. Getting straight into the chorus now.
Yeah, that miss was really tragic. Without that miss, I don't even think Vietnam has the lead right now. Ufixos and Suzuna's acts are too strong. Unless we see a miss from Indonesia, I don't see this lead literally shifting to Vietnam anytime soon, but it is getting a little bit smaller. And this part of the map is no easy feat to hit as well. I do think this should be a victory for Indonesia, and that's gonna be the first break point. This is also one of the bigger differences I've seen in the map so far. Wait, a double V1 double S on Indonesian side, and almost a V1 double S on Dex, but that one miss really hurt their chances.
That one miss. Oh my. The 200's totaling up on both sides as well. It really was just that miss being such a hindrance, especially at the 400 combo as well. That just hurt too much. But the ratios tell a completely different story, with Indonesia being able to take the lead in that regard. Double 996s, that's insane.
That's insane scores, really. So now we're just waiting for Indonesia to select the map that they want to play.
With no more SV on the board, one LN left, not the protected LN, mind you. We basically have only Rice. One hybrid, one LN is definitely going to be, I guess, smaller food for Vietnam if they feel they can take it on the LN sections. But, oh, and we see LN coming out actually.
That's a very surprising pick to me. Like, I would have thought that this would be something that Vietnam would pick, considering they're the ones that won LM, but looks like it's not. I think Indonesia's going for an interesting strategy, but I think this is very, very risky. However, if this pays off, I think this would definitely be a huge, huge momentum shift for Indonesia, as this essentially would kill Vietnam's chances of any advantage on a certain skill set. Because at least judging from the qualifier scores, it seems like Indonesia is also actually a little bit better on the early hybrid side.
Right, but honestly, even the ratios tell a weird story. As what we saw in LN3 or Time Traveler, we saw Vietnam holding quite average ratios, and then Indonesia actually having Fixel hold a really good ratio with only 150 compared to the average 200, 220. So we might see Ufixel carrying for Indonesia, especially on the ratio side. But Vietnam might be able to take this if they have a good score between all three players. Although being rough, this might really come down to Dex, as we've seen him miss in the previous two charts, I think, give or take. So it's gonna really come down if he can hold that and see if he can just absolutely carry Vietnam through this map.
Alright. Looks like now here we go. I think the timer is finally up there.
Just waiting for client to stabilize, and I think we're ready to get into this. Just gotta wait for client to refresh, as we have two players playing the wrong maps. They just really liked that map previously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Looks like we have a case of players just wanting to play another map other than the ones that they're supposed to be playing. That's just an interesting dynamic. And check this out. Dex playing the hidden bot. I mean, there are a lot of players who are really good at hidden. I mean, Roji is a prime example of that. But when it comes to LNs, you don't really see that many players that are able to just execute that as good, with the exception of like Zayken, as Zayken is really one of
Oh my
the
god.
one of the best hidden players out
One
there.
of the best. That man is scary, but get this, Dex is actually holding quite a high accuracy. Was holding a higher accuracy than Vixel, but just hanging behind him.
The lead
The
right
accuracy's
now,
on Indonesia.
correct. It's that very, very evened out accuracy on the Indonesian side. That's giving the advantage, really. Because if you think about it, Vietnam's acts are not that bad. Like, literally everyone's in the 99.7 range, but Indonesia, on the other hand, is in the 99.8 range. Suzune, Hanamona, and Ilfixel leading the charge once again.
Right, but this is the problem with Ellen release. It really is hard to keep just consistent 300s and not accidentally dropping a 200, because it's actually really easy to drop a 200 randomly and not even know where you dropped it. So honestly, we see Indonesia trying to be very careful about that, but the accuracies are really close despite Indonesia having the lead. A 1k difference!
It's just a 1k difference. I mean, ASCII Fanboy's act is actually the second lowest in the lobby. It's Dex who has it right now. Yes, these patterns are not getting easier by the second. And here we go, we have some sort of a break section, yes. But I think it's one of those 200 bait parts where it does look easy, but you can drop some 200s if you're not careful. And Vietnam is the one that's going to be dropping a little. Wait a second! That drop from ASCII Fanboy is going to
another 200 from Ufixel too!
Oh my goodness, give me a second!
I
What ASCII Fanboy drops on this section? That is surprising! And that's going to give Vietnam the advantage that they badly needed. They have to hold on.
Turnaround!
They have to hold on. It's not over yet. They have to hold on to this final part. One drop from Vietnam, and I think it's over. But wow, they're holding this strong despite all the nerves. Oh my goodness. There we go. Vietnam takes one breakpoint part. One breakpoint back. Oh my goodness.
Indonesia stealing Vietnam, saying, I want that back, and stealing the point back. Oh my god. We are so close to 4 points.
Vietnam just said, you guys have the lead, sure. You won the battle in the first half, but we win the war. And Vietnam showing their resiliency despite being down 3-1. Looks like they have not lost their momentum and morale yet.
God, that slow section was definitely the turning point. As you said, that's definitely a 200 bait. And personally, I would even say that's more of a miss bait, considering you're playing slower than usual and then right back to playing fast. That's just killer for some players, and we definitely saw that happen.
Oh my goodness, that I was really excited and nervous seeing that, because once again, if Vietnam had dropped there, that would have been no loss. But here's the thing, regardless of what happened, Indonesia has successfully made Vietnam lose all of the Olympics. I think this is what they're trying. I think they're trying to corner Vietnam right now. Like, look, Indonesia won one hybrid pick, right? Vietnam has lost that one hybrid pick as well. I mean, of course, makes sense. But if you think about it, now putting Vietnam with only one anti-meta map, that could potentially swing things over. As yes, if they win the hybrid map, that would mean 3-all. But if their early game accuracy on Rice is not gonna cut, then I don't see why Indonesia will not take this.
Honest, just well points all around. And that just brings the question of what now? What next? Because you have a 3-2, you have a point lead on Indonesia, but it's Vietnam's pick. So in Vietnam's position, what would you do? Especially when you only have one hybrid and then pretty much all the Rice picks left to go.
Vietnam's really taking their time. Only 30 seconds are left for them to select.
We might have to randomly pick if Vietnam does not pick a map.
Oh my goodness! I think I think we have to randomly select the map. Is that gonna be the case?
If 30 seconds are up, I think we're gonna have to randomly pick.
Yeah, I mean it's already been up. So well, I mean, I guess they selected their map already. But
A little late, but I guess
considering
it's
considering that the referee is like gonna give a chance, sure, why not? But like,
why not?
wow, why they really teams should really be careful when it comes to the timers.
Now this is gonna be really interesting. 3-2, we're so close to 4 points. Who gets to 4 points first? And are we actually gonna see a 4-4 tiebreaker this early?
Yeah, here we go. So I'm not sure if this is definite. If this will be like, I'm not sure if this would be safe for Vietnam to win, considering that hybrid one was Indonesia winning it.
But I'd say this is the more LN focused rather than rice focused hybrid, as far as I've seen, but we'll definitely have to tell them now.
So here, this jump stream section, I think really favors a team like Indonesia. And on this difficult parts to act, I would say Indonesia really has the technical rise advantage. Vietnam, unfortunately, is a little bit behind because of the fact that Indonesia has a 99.8% accuracy advantage. I just noticed that. And oh, I think that was pointed up from Ufixel, but ideal it should not matter much as Dex also has gotten some act. But it is swinging. ASCII Fanboy a little bit higher than Dex. Ufixel a little bit behind compared to Sturp the Furo, but both Ufixel and Suzune are ahead of Vixen, so that really cancels out everything. It's just really anyone's game right now.
Honestly, and even more rice just to show Indonesia can definitely take this, but we see the lead fluctuating back and forth, back and forth. The accuracy is not being too far away from each other as well.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. This is the final part. I think Indonesia is in a I don't know. This is hard to tell. I was about to say
It's really hard to tell.
I think Indonesia safely wins this, right? Like this is the these are not too difficult sections, and it looks like everyone is able to hit them properly. Not unless someone missed on the last note.
Oh, no 200s?
It was a 400-point
400.
victory for Indonesia. Wow. Wait, those 250s decided it.
50s? God, that would have been so much closer if it weren't for that. But with that, we see the first team to get 4 points. Where did the 250s come from? Absolute madness, but now that we see Indonesia at 4-2, Indonesia is locked into the tiebreaker. Vietnam has to take back 2 points on the rice maps of all maps. We have an accuracy pick. I'd say another accuracy pick, for lack of a better term, a stream map and a tech map, and we go into the accuracy pick, rice 1. Now, there's something funny to take note in this map. There is a heavy trill on lanes 2 and 3 that can definitely throw some people off, or maybe even like get a chain of 200s. It's going to be quite an interesting one, being pure consistency and just focusing on ratio. But those trills is going to be a whole nother story. 200 BPM at 3 minutes, straight stamina.
We're just waiting for Vietnam to have a third player. What is going on?
There they are. A player we actually haven't seen before yet.
CMC Kenji.
Well, it looks like Kenji's ready to go. Almost here and ready.
Here we go. This is, I don't know, match point for Indonesia. This would be nice if they could get it, but I don't think this is a safe pick by any means.
This is going to be quite a toss-up, really. We're going to see who has A, better ratio, B, we're just going to have to see who can hold on for the 3 minutes and hold that ratio as well. It's not just one or the other, you really need both in order to stay consistent.
Yeah, that's true. I think Indonesia, well, at least judging by the qualifier runs, yes, you could say stage 7, Vietnam does win that, but this is not as hard as that, by any means.
Oh, obviously not, but even then, you still see...
wait, that has to be quiet music.
Okay, there you go. I was so scared. Oh my. 99.95.
I mean, it's too early on. The lead is on Vietnam's side, mainly because of Saga's... I'll say Saga. I don't wanna pronounce it like that.
Yeah.
But like Saga is a little bit behind compared to everyone else. And here we go. Vietnam has an advantage right now, but this is not by a lot.
Yeah, just straight into density, and we're gonna have to see if they can hold on. No drops, no 200s, I think, on that trail as well, but we get another good pair of those later on.
Here we go. It's really Saga's disadvantage.
I guess I'll drop a 200. Not too sure, but still definitely holding that high accuracy. So close to a 0.9, but honestly, just having a good accuracy across the entire team is what's necessary.
That's true, and like Vietnam is slowly dropping. ZMC Kennedy is lowering that accuracy. Vixile is still at the highest. Those trills are very, very uncomfortable. Man, I am really, really nervous to watch this. So here we go. Indonesia is a little bit behind. It's not too far. They'd still have to hope for Vietnam to make one mistake. That's all it takes for the lead to shift to Indonesia.
And we're only halfway through the map. It's not even like... It's not even a minute left. It's not 30 seconds left. It's a whole minute 50. And getting through it is definitely going to be hard, especially on the second half.
And here we go. The last W. Oh, wait! Stirp the Furo! The accuracy carry of Vietnam has dropped! They have fallen, and that is a bad sign, as the map is not getting easier. It's actually kind of getting a little bit denser, especially considering that the stamina of the players may have lessened as well. That could be it if they're not careful.
Back at the 400 combo though, this is going to come down to if everyone can hold. It comes down to Saga whether you can hold that just full combo regardless of accuracy or not. Any miss could literally shift the lead, or this could be game for Indonesia past the last trill.
Oh my goodness. I saw Saga drop like a lot of 300s on the trill, and this is the last part. Any drop here would basically just give it to the other team. If Vietnam drops here, it's Indonesia's win, but if Indonesia does not drop, that's the only important thing. They will take this. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous, and I think Indonesia should take it. Unless anyone drops on the long notes, which is not going to be the case. It seems that Indonesia's safe to go to take it 5-2. That was a really, really close match though. Like,
that was a really close match.
By no means was this far. Like, look, the ratio advantage was clearly on Vietnam's end, but that one miss from Stirp the Furo gave it away to Indonesia. That was just a clutch performance by Saga on holding that full combo. That was so important.
Yeah, and despite the score being 5-2 and Indonesia taking it, this game was far from being a one-sided match. Vietnam being so close, literally under 10k on most maps, just bringing it to such a good game between these two teams.
All right. So yeah, congratulations to Team Indonesia for making it to round of 16 winners bracket. But Vietnam did an absolutely amazing job. And I have to say this, Vietnam did like really good, and I would be afraid of them if I were to face them in the losers bracket.
Right, and losers bracket is definitely going to be quite the competition, as we see a lot of teams have still yet to make it pass into the round of 16. We still got quite a couple of matches left, and oh man, it only gets harder from here.
Oh my god, yeah, I can't wait. China or Ireland versus Indonesia. That should turn up an interesting match. But anyways, that's all from me, and Thunder, feel free to close this for us.
We got one match coming up pretty soon. I think that's in 3 hours, 12 UTC, 2 hours give or take. Peru versus Argentina. That is going to be quite interesting, and that's just going to be 2 matches back to back as well. We got China and Ireland right after that. It's going to be interesting and quite fun. But I think that is all from us. Take care. Good morning, good night, or good afternoon. See you all in the next one.